Hello my friend, welcome to this video here where we're going on my morning walk on a nice rainy morning here in Toronto area in Canada. We had the hottest 4 days of all time. It was like 47 degrees Celsius. It was sweltering hot. So it's kind of nice to have some cold rain here. So I just wanted to quickly share some gratitude for my breakfast that I had this morning. It was such a fantastic, amazing, life-changing breakfast that I just had to share it because I want more people to experience the profound healing, just like beautiful, tasty, phenomenal, excellent vibe that I felt this morning. So it's actually the same breakfast that I've been having for the last year. This umbrella is like wanting to fly away. So for the last year, I've been doing this protocol called the Medical Medium Morning Cleanse that involves lemon water, celery juice, and this wild blueberry smoothie with bananas and wild blueberries and spirulina and barley grass juice powder and cilantro. I actually have a tutorial on my channel. I'll link in the description if you want to make it. I have a bit of a... Oh! Guys. Holy shit. Okay, one second. Aha! There you go. It's one of those days, guys. So listen, this breakfast was so powerful and fantastic that actually, okay, I'm gonna close this. Over the last year, I have completely healed my eczema, which I was struggling with for over 23 years since I was 1 year old. So that's completely gone, which is the best feeling ever. Like it's been permanently gone for the last 9 months or so. So my seasonal allergies are completely gone. This was the first spring of my entire life where I didn't have itchy eyes, runny nose, phlegm and itchy palate and all of this nasty feeling. You know, the allergies are gross. Horrible feeling. It would just ruin my life, honestly, for like 2-3 months in every single spring. So I had zero symptoms, actually. So I completely healed my seasonal allergies using this protocol, because the protocol that I've been sharing on my channel for the last year and this medical medium information in general is by far, without a doubt, like not even a tiny little shred of a doubt. Well, maybe a little doubt, because doubt is healthy. It's okay to have a bit of doubt, you know, but it's not even close that this info is the healthiest diet information on planet Earth by a wide margin, actually. By a really wide margin. I've been talking about it for, it feels like over a year now, and I've been explaining the details, the explanations, the descriptions, why the medical medium information is the only health information on planet Earth that has detailed descriptions of what causes virtually every single chronic illness, which doesn't exist. Those descriptions don't exist in any other diet philosophy of keto or paleo or vegan or whatever it is. There's not detailed case-by-case descriptions of what causes every single chronic illness like eczema, thyroid problems, chronic weight gain, hair loss, tooth and gum problems, skin issues, bloating, ADHD, Alzheimer's, even cancer. This is the most advanced health info on planet Earth because the source, medical medium's actually bringing it through from a spiritual kind of power that he's been gifted with and that he's been using for over 50 years to work on tens of thousands and even hundreds of thousands of patients. He works alongside doctors, and he just brings the most advanced health info on planet Earth by far, okay? So I've been talking about that. I'll link in the description how you can learn more, but I just wanted to share how this smoothie that I had this morning, it was like the same smoothie I've been having for basically a year. I mix it up sometimes, but it's just the best feeling ever. There is no better feeling than having fruit, a lot of fruit after having the lemon water, right? So you wake up, you have the lemon water, you wait 15 minutes, you make celery juice, right? Drink that. Oh my God, already I'm feeling amazing. 30 minutes after that, having the heavy metal detox smoothie, or just a large portion of fruit like melon or whatever it is. Oh my God. This is like not even close. The by far healthiest possible way that a human being could feel by a long shot. And the only way I'm able to tell you this with confidence is because I have changed my diet, and I've experimented with dozens of different diets, all kinds of different fad diets, trends, and science-backed stuff, paleo, keto, vegan, carnivore, all this junk. I've done this for years. I've been doing this for over 10 years, actually, trying different diets, experimenting with all kinds of different stuff. It all pales in comparison to the level of quality of the medical medium info. So the real reason why I'm making this video is just because I wanted to just point out that a lot of people on Earth are really lost when it comes to diet. We really don't know what's going on. So I was scrolling on YouTube a little bit this morning, and I saw one of my favorite YouTubers, who I'm not going to say his name because I'm about to criticize the information that he's sharing, so I don't think that's fair for me to say his name. But he mentioned his morning routine, right? And it was, like wake up early, do breath work or whatever, which is already, whatever, right? You do breath work, okay, that's fine. Breath work is already a little bit tough on your adrenals. So if you're like hyperventilating yourself, it's really hard on your adrenals, okay? So your adrenals are glands that sit above your kidneys that actually govern a large portion of your overall health. And basically no one talks about the adrenal glands. Your body uses adrenaline for almost everything, including your immune system and your reproductive system, your liver, your overall energy levels. A lot of it is your brain function. A lot of it is actually dependent on your adrenal glands, okay? So any kind of activity that is releasing unnecessary adrenaline into your body, such as breath work, such as cold showers, and such as really hot saunas, these are things that you can do, but you have to be very cognizant that you're actually taking other counteracting measures, balancing measures that help to repair and restore the adrenals afterwards. So examples of those measures would be like lemon water, celery juice, and certain teas like nettle leaf tea, licorice root tea, and ashwagandha tea. All of these things are good ways to restore the adrenals. But yeah, so my favorite one of my favorite YouTubers, his morning routine is wake up early, breath work, and then his breakfast is coffee with butter, it's eggs, and it's avocado toast. All right. Now, on the surface, if you haven't been watching my videos recently and you haven't been familiarizing yourself with the medical medium info, on the surface, this seems like it's like, what's wrong with that? Coffee with butter, okay, maybe that's a little questionable. Eggs and avocado toast, that sounds healthy, right? There's protein in there, avocado toast, that's what all the white girls eat, right? So it must be healthy. So the problem with this is that, first of all, this information that is telling you to drink coffee with butter. One second. Yeah, so this information, this like coffee with butter, eggs, and avocado toast, this is one of the least healthy breakfasts that you can have. And the problem is you think it's healthy. It's not like you're eating Pop-Tarts and it's not healthy. The problem is you actually think that coffee with butter and eggs and avocado toast, that's actually good for you in the morning. And if you learn the medical medium info, I'm going to give you a short little description why that's not good for you. So let's start with coffee, okay? Coffee releases unnecessary adrenaline into your system. So since it's high in caffeine, caffeine has this quality of dehydrating the body, okay? So the actual caffeine literally sucks the water out of your cells, okay? So caffeine has this dehydrating effect, which is actually the opposite of what you want. You never want your body to be dehydrated, because you need to be hydrated in order to move nutrients and vitamins and minerals to where they need to go. And also hydration is so key to helping your body cleanse, especially first thing in the morning. Your liver is actually getting rid of a lot of junk, a lot of heavy metals, a lot of chemicals, a lot of toxins, environmental pollutants, like this jet that's flying above right now, and then all of the exhaust is going into the rain, right? And then the rain is raining on my skin right now. That's really bad for me right now that I'm exposed to this rain. But it's just like toxic poison rain. I should have my umbrella on right now, but since my morning cleanse is so consistent and it's so powerful, the heavy metal detox smoothie is actually protecting me right now, along with the celery juice. And I'm gonna go have fruit, and I'm gonna go eat, salads and stuff. And I've been doing this for over a year, so I'm protected, okay? But if you're having coffee with butter, okay, first thing in the morning, you're not protecting yourself against environmental pollutants or toxins basically at all. The coffee is actually squeezing your adrenals like a prune, okay? So your adrenals are now releasing unnecessary adrenaline. You need that adrenaline to exercise, to use your brain, to actually basically perform so many different functions, to sleep properly. You actually need those adrenals to not be totally squeezed dry, okay? When you're drinking caffeine and coffee consistently, you're weakening your adrenals, okay? And you're actually dehydrating your entire body. This is going to lead to chronic illness of some kind in the future. It could be a bone problem, it could be a skin problem, it could be chronic fatigue, it could be a thyroid problem, okay? But it is going to lead to some kind of chronic illness, okay? Because that's how your body works. This is what's talked about in the medical medium info, all right? Now, we're not just having coffee, we're putting butter in our coffee, okay? So the first thing I wanted to say is that this information, this butter in your coffee thing, it's actually a kind of a new trend. This is the problem of getting your health information from literally scrolling on Instagram, okay? So I already know for a fact that if you're talking about coffee and butter, you got that info from TikTok or from Instagram or from some random YouTube video, okay? But this is actually information that has been paid for by dairy industries, okay? So I wanted to talk about this in a little more detail. I get scared whenever people walk by me, so, and I'm also trying to balance this umbrella. I don't know how to hold it. I'm just gonna hold it like this, I guess. Okay. So the other day, I was hanging out with my dad, and I saw something on the news. He was watching the news, and I overheard there was an article. The news anchor says, so it turns out that water may not be the most hydrating thing for you. And actually, a new study shows that milk is even more hydrating than water. So in those hot summer months, you should be drinking milk because of the balance of protein and fat and carbs. That's why it's even more hydrating for your body. And that's it. And then then he changed it to the next sort of article. Okay? So this seems kind of innocent, right? It's like, oh, drinking milk is actually more hydrating for your body. I had a mini panic attack, not like actually, but I was like, what? Because I'm so aware of this subject, and I actually had just made a video like 2 days before that about hydration, which you can find on my channel. That little blurb on the news, so that was on like CP24, it was on like the actual news. It's so nefarious because it seems like the news is just sort of reporting some new interesting study, right? Actually, that's not what happened. The dairy industry literally paid for that 10-second clip on the actual news channel, and that's part of their advertising campaign. Because again, if the news, okay, so I don't know why I have to say that like the TV news obviously isn't some like fucking reputable source of information in any dimension or degree. There's a medium level of journalistic integrity when it comes to like just like the evening news, but it's so corrupted. And this little advertisement is actually an example of how a lot of the information on the news, especially regarding health, is actually just paid for. Like that ad, like if the news really was interested in how to hydrate a human being better, okay, there is no mention of fruit which has juicy water in it that our ancestors have been eating for millions of years that has all sorts of vitamins and glucose and mineral salts and electrolytes in it that's just designed to be in that fruit. There's actually like tons of different varieties of minerals in those fruits. And then there's no mention of like lemon water, coconut water. Obviously, coconut water or lemon water is more hydrating than normal water. I just made a whole video about it, okay? Or fruit juices that are fresh squeezed, right? Like actual fruit, or just eating apples or whatever. Obviously, that's more hydrating than normal water. Just made a whole video about it. But this fucking news advertisement is like milk, you know? Like actually milk is more hydrating. So first of all, that actually doesn't even pass the common sense test. Because again, knowing just basic anthropology, okay, our ancestors were not running around and milking wild cows, okay? Yes, I understand throughout history there have been tribes of humans who have tamed cows like goats and cattle and yaks and stuff, and then milk them and then eat that. Okay, I understand that, okay? But if we're talking about optimal hydration for your body, let's go back to before the time we've even been able to tame animals, okay? So we can imagine like 50,000 years ago, okay, or maybe 100,000 years ago, where we're in like the sort of hunter-gatherer phase. Allegedly, that's how the evolution worked of humans, okay? We have been eating fruits to hydrate way before we've been milking cows to hydrate, okay? So again, I the way I thought of it was like, imagine this scenario where you're walking with your tribe of hunter-gatherers, okay? Maybe there's 30 of you. And you guys are really thirsty and hungry, okay? It's been months, it's been days before you've eaten. Then all of a sudden you come across an orange tree with all these fresh, ripe oranges just growing from the tree. So when you guys eat that, when you climb the tree, you see it from far away because your eyes are evolved to see bright colors like orange and red and yellow. Our eyes are evolved to see the fruit from far away, okay? Our hands and feet are evolved to climb the tree and to pick the fruit and to peel the fruit. And our teeth are designed to bite into that fruit and chew it. And our saliva is actually designed to digest those carbohydrates that are in the fruit, okay? And it tastes sweet. It activates our dopamine receptors because our brains are evolved to reward us for eating food that is designed for us to eat, okay? So obviously you're gonna have like 20 of those oranges if you haven't eaten in days and you're thirsty as fuck and there's like hundreds of oranges there. You're gonna have a lot of oranges, okay? And you're gonna get pumped with electrolytes, pumped with sugar, pumped with vitamins, pumped with basically everything your brain, your liver, your muscles need to continue running. All right? So what would be easier, to pick those fruits or to go find a wild cow that hasn't been tamed, so like an actual bull, to go find a wild herd of cows and to go try and milk them, without their permission, just sneak up behind them and milk them so that you can drink? That doesn't really check out. Like that's not that's not clearly not the optimal way to hydrate, just in terms of energy expenditure and so forth. Okay, so my point here is that the news article is paid for, so it's on the news, but just because it's on the news, that doesn't mean it's like unbiased information. I'm trying to describe that a lot of pro dairy information, regardless of if it's on the news or if it's on your Instagram feed, or if there's a nutritionist on YouTube, you need to understand there's actually billions of dollars of ad spend going into pushing the dairy agenda, okay? This ad spend actually goes so deep into even push any kind of narrative that involves fat-based diets, so keto kind of diets. These kinds of high-fat diets are very beneficial to dairy companies. I have a whole video about this. Very beneficial to meat companies. Okay. So you got to understand, it's very important that a lot of pro-dairy information that you find on social media that's pushed by certified nutritionists, and there's science studies, right? There's science studies that back up that milk is more hydrating than water, or that milk helps to cure heart disease, or whatever it is, right? This science is not good science. It's called thumb on the scale science, where the science is funded tens of millions of dollars. Labs are funded by dairy companies to get studies that specifically push out a specific agenda. Okay, so it's not real science, it's biased science, it's corrupt science. Okay, so then they use this science to then push articles on the news or in reels that are made by nutritionists, right? Showing, oh, did you know a new science study shows that dairy helps to heal eczema or something like this, okay? So this is how the current health field works in the year 2025. Most information is actually seeded, a good chunk of information is actually seeded by corporate interest and by corrupt agendas that are trying to sell products and trying to shape the narrative to be more high fat, to be more meat based and more dairy based. Okay, because this sells products off the shelves. Do you understand? There's a billion-dollar industry, multi-billion-dollar industry to sell meat, to sell dairy, to sell eggs. Okay, that's why there's commercials for all of these things. Okay, there's no commercials for broccoli. There's no commercials for apples and celery. Okay, because these are not industries. These are commodities, meaning that they're grown widely. They just grow out of the floor, and there's no industry backing it. That's why there's no commercials on the news about how celery juice is literally a life-saving herb, which it is. Okay, so what you need to now understand is that, Adam, why do people have so many competing opinions about health? Why is the health field so muddy and polluted? Why is there so much noise? Everyone has a different opinion, right? The reason why, very important, is because most people are trying to sell you a supplement or an ideology or a specific perspective. They have profit incentive. Okay, this has to do with caring about the truth. Okay, the truth won't always put money in your pocket. Okay, so I've been sharing this medical medium info for over a year. This is my best absolute best from the bottom of my heart after 9 years of studying epistemology and spirituality and experimenting with literally dozens of different diets and reading hundreds of different perspectives and testing just open-minded. I'm not wedded to veganism or to paleo or to carnivore. I'm not wedded to a specific perspective. I'm just genuinely trying to understand the actual truth. So first of all, I can heal and be healthy and not have chronic illnesses and diseases. And then also to share that information with you just for free, just because I literally want humans to be healthy. Okay, and I know it sounds like, we live in a world where it's like, really? Yeah, I actually do. I actually want humans to be healthy, okay? Getting a bit nervous because I hear there's like squirrels or like some squirrels over there that are making me nervous. I gotta move. Okay, sorry guys, I get scared of squirrels. That's why I feel so bad, because I have literally the best info, but I don't know how to share it well because I'm scared of the fucking squirrels, and I don't know how to make good quality videos, okay? But that doesn't change the fact that, okay, when you're having coffee with butter, the problem with dairy that I spoke about for an hour in my dairy video called Fuck Your Yogurt, you go check out that video, it's amazing. I actually explain in detail, and I show you articles from Medical Medium, and I explain how dairy, first of all, suffocates the liver of oxygen, and it creates this kind of film when it enters into your body, and it actually prevents the complete absorption of healthy nutrients like vitamins from fruit, like healthy glucose from fruit, again, like mineral salts and electrolytes from leafy greens and from fruit and vegetables, okay? So dairy is actually inhibiting the absorption of the critical clean carbohydrates and vitamins and antioxidants and phytochemicals that your body desperately craves from fruit, from berries, from apples, from bananas, from spinach, from apricots. Spinach is not a fruit, but it's a leafy green and it's really good. From plums, from grapes, from melon, okay? Your body desperately wants these, and it desperately wants to eat them in an environment where your stomach is not caked with this film from butter, from yogurt, and from cheese, and from milk, okay? This makes it harder. The fattiness, it thickens your blood. It makes it more difficult for the nutrients to get where they need to go. Okay, and to top it all off, it also feeds viruses in your body and bacteria such as Streptococcus, which causes sicknesses of all kinds, and it also causes acne. Okay, it feeds Epstein-Barr virus, which is responsible for all sorts of thyroid problems, liver issues, and eczema as well. It feeds herpes, which again, it can cause all sorts of reproductive issues, causes all sorts of skin issues. It can even cause cancer in certain cases. Okay, so dairy is feeding all of these viruses and bad bacteria while suffocating your liver and starving it of the key critical clean carbohydrates from fruits and vegetables that your body has evolved and that God has specifically put to grow literally everywhere. There's literally edible plants, actually, literally in this patch of grass, there's probably 3 or 4 different species of edible plants that literally just grow everywhere that are extremely good for you, okay? Along with the fruit that just grows off the trees, okay? You don't need to milk a cow. You don't need to kill a cow. It's not a moralistic argument I'm making. I don't care about the morals of the dairy industry, okay? Obviously, it's disgusting the way they fucking shove those cows into pens and they attach machines to their udders and they just milk them dry until they become prunes. You know, cows, when they have to be milked, they have to keep them perpetually pregnant. So they impregnate the cow with a fucking syringe of bull semen. They stick it into the cow so that it becomes pregnant, so it produces milk. Then they attach machines to it and they suck the milk out. Again, this is not a moralistic argument. I actually don't care about whether it's morally correct or whether you're a good person or a bad person for drinking dairy. You're allowed to do whatever you want. Okay, I actually don't care. You can, butter in your coffee, it's fine. I'm just explaining the truth, okay? You can choose. I'm not judging you. Literally, I'm not judging you. You're free to do whatever you want on earth, okay? It's your life. You make your own choices. I'm trying to help you make an informed choice, okay? So they drain the cow, they re-impregnate it 6 or 7 times until it literally doesn't produce any more milk, and then they just go and they kill it. Okay, and that's the cow's life. It's just, then that's the milk and the butter that you're drinking. Okay, even if you're having grass-fed or pasture-raised milk or butter or raw milk, it doesn't matter, because it still feeds viruses in your body. It still feeds strep and herpes and Epstein-Barr virus and shingles. It still clogs your liver, the fattiness. It still thickens your blood, and it still prevents key absorption of key nutrients, okay? Also, eggs. So we talked about coffee. We talked about coffee is toxic and it's dehydrating, okay? It's dehydrating, and it drains your adrenals, okay? Milk, on top of that, is disgusting for all the reasons we just described. And then there's eggs. So now you're having eggs. So you're having coffee, butter, and now eggs, okay? So in the medical medium only information, you learn, because he's bringing info, cutting edge info that's ahead of science from the spirit of compassion, which you need to read for yourself before you judge. You know, people are like, oh, Adam, I don't believe you. Okay, you didn't even fucking read it. So you're gonna, you know, what are you judging? You didn't even read it. You don't know you didn't read. There's like articles and web and books and shit that you can read. There's in-depth information. Medical Medium has an hour-long podcast just about eggs, okay? So I'm going to give you like a 2-minute sound bite, but this is coming from a mountain of study and research and information that I actually had to humble myself intellectually to admit that I don't know how reality works, that I'm stupid, that I'm an idiot, that I'm confused and deluded. I had to spend many years in that state because my teacher actually explained to me that not knowing things is the prerequisite to knowing things. You can't know how reality works unless you admit that currently, right now, you don't know how reality works, okay? And I had to spend many years going into my assumptions about science, deconstructing science. There's a 9-hour series on my teacher's website, actualize.org. 9 hours of deconstructing the science, okay? I've been doing this for years, contemplating it, reading about it, thinking about it, okay? So I'm giving you info from a place of I'm such a fucking idiot that I actually had to go read 50 books about life and about this specific subject of diet. I'm so deluded that I'm so in the dark about what's true and what's false is I had to doubt my teachers and I had to doubt my own beliefs, okay? And I had to test and throw out giant chunks of my belief system. This is the real self-actualization, guys. The real self-actualization is dropping giant chunks of your belief systems about relationships and about business and about health and about spirituality. Self-actualization is not about confirming what you already thought to be true that literally came to you from a corrupted paradigm culture that has all sorts of faulty belief systems and limited views of science and of metaphysics and of religion and of health and of dating and of business and of happiness and of even of history. All of the pre-installed beliefs from culture are extremely suspect if you're trying to reach the highest levels of understanding and of awakening, of personal development, of self-actualization. If you want to have an advanced, cutting-edge understanding of life and of existence, you need to be willing to drop huge chunks of your previous belief system to actually stay in a state of not knowing. I don't know what's true. Okay? And that includes what I tell you. Okay? So I'm not trying to just fill your mind with my ideology. I'm giving you the best diet info that I'm capable of. Okay? It's important, and I had to do a lot of work to get here. But still, you should doubt me. Okay? You should be skeptical. You should doubt medical medium. You should be confused about it. You might have to go read a couple of his books. You might have to test for 6 months because you're so confused and you don't know. See what I mean? You have to be skeptical. All right? So eggs, problem with eggs is they're very fatty again, and it's the kind of fat that the hormones in these eggs feeds Streptococcus, it feeds H. pylori, it feeds E. coli, it feeds herpes, it feeds various varieties of HPV. it feeds shingles, and it also feeds Epstein-Barr virus. Okay? Not to mention that it's also overloading your liver with fats and making it virtually impossible for your liver to properly cleanse all of the junk, all of the toxic heavy metals, the copper, the mercury, the lead, the arsenic, the toxic nickel and stuff comes from the pipes, it comes from the jet exhaust, it comes from the pesticides, it comes from the perfumes and the fragrances, the perfume that's in your shampoo that smells for 6 hours, and there's this, you know, there's this toxic fragrance, the colognes that you spray, that your friends spray. When you go to the movie theater and you sit and everyone has 28 different colognes and fragrances in their hair and on their body, you're just breathing that. That's toxic. Do you understand? That actually gets absorbed into your body. Your liver has to cleanse that and process that, but your liver's not able to do that because you're not supporting it with a diet that's actually aligned with your physical constitution as a human being. Okay? So as a human being, you need to understand you have a specific physical constitution, meaning that certain foods will actually work better than other foods. And the problem, again, is our information ecology is so polluted that business and corporate interests will actually convince you by paying nutritionists to make reels, right? By paying scientists to come out with studies that then those nutritionists that they paid, they give them those studies that they paid for to then make a reel to literally infuse the information ecology with pro-dairy, pro-meat, pro-egg agendas that now confuses people. And then what happens is that other influencers who aren't even related to that original source that was funded and corrupted and paid for, they will then, since they don't have much epistemology, they don't have much common sense. Again, it's not a personal attack. I'm just saying we're not trained to be epistemological masters like my teacher, LeoGrowonActualize.org was, that I was so fucking thankful I was able to even listen to his talks and understand the whole process of being skeptical and testing for yourself and not just believing the first fucking perspective that you hear. Most people don't have this sort of epistemological pedigree of actually caring about the genuine truth on earth and testing and being open-minded, right? So what they do is they just kind of find the first nutritionist that's telling them shit. The odds are it's corrupted information, and then they perpetuate that, and then it becomes this echo chamber where everyone is just verifying their same beliefs. So when you get into the coffee with butter echo chamber, now all of your fucking reels that you scroll on TikTok and Instagram is now coffee with butter. It's, you know, echo chamber. So it self-reinforces. This is the problem with paradigm lock. You get locked into a specific paradigm, and then your reality actually becomes so locked into this one view that you think 100% coffee with butter, of course that's good for me. Of course that's like the main thing I should be eating. There's, you know, there's all sorts of minerals in the dairy, right? There's protein in it. It's good. There's healthy fats. Oh, of course there's healthy fats. Right? That sounds good, right? There's minerals, there's vitamins in the dairy. Of course there is, right? Of course. What I'm trying to tell you is that not really, actually. It actually, what I just described before, it starves your liver, okay? And it feeds viruses and shit, okay? It's not good for you. You might say, Adam, but haven't you just got locked into one of these echo chambers? Aren't you just in the medical medium echo chamber? And the answer actually is not really, because I have this thing, it's called a broad view. So I didn't just find the medical medium and just believe him, okay? I started by finding dozens of different sources, paleo, vegan, carnivore, like I mentioned, keto, these different sources, and being in each echo chamber. I hop echo chambers. I hop from different paradigms. I'm a paradigm hopper, okay? So I actually go in and I believe veganism for 6 months, and I try it and I test it and I eat that way for 6 months. Then I go and I believe paleo, and I actually believe it. I become it. I actually eat that. Like, and I'm a paleo guy now, and then I eat that for 6 months. Then I do carnivore. Then I do keto. Okay, I actually believe that theory. I study that theory and believe it for a short period of time. So after this process of literally surveying a vast majority of the health information on Earth, after that process of not knowing, now I've finally landed on the medical medium info, which is by far, not even close, the most advanced health information on planet Earth by a large margin. Okay? By a large margin, especially in terms of its accessibility and its practicality and its effectiveness. Okay? And also there's practical tips like the morning cleanse protocol. It's easy to read and to assimilate into your own life. Okay? So Adam, are you part of the medical medium echo chamber? Not really. Actually, there's a lot of people who blindly believe medical medium and who worship him like Jesus. And if you disagree with anything he says, they demonize you. Okay, I'm not that kind of person. There's a lot of stuff medical medium says, especially about spirits and about demons and this kind of stuff. I don't fully agree with his paradigm of that subject. Okay? Because I've actually studied many other subjects, including shamanism and including other kinds of ancient traditions about demonology and about spirits and this kind of stuff, where I actually don't really resonate with his specific understanding of that subject. Okay, so there's certain things medical medium says I don't fully agree with or believe in, because I'm not a fucking ideological worshiper. I'm a truth seeker. Okay, I don't care about. I'm specifically inoculating myself against ideology and dogma. Okay, I'm trying my best to do that. Okay. So everything I just explained to you, when people are posting how you should drink coffee and butter for breakfast, they don't even think on that level that I just described. They didn't watch, like actualize.org videos about epistemology for thousands of hours. They didn't study the outlines of Pyrrhonism, the original skeptics from ancient Greece. They're not epistemologically rigorous people, okay? They just were literally on Instagram. Some nutritionist cited a study that was paid for, and they don't even realize it, that said coffee with butter is good for you because of all the minerals and all of the fats, and it's good for you, and it helps you go into ketosis and all this garbage, which it doesn't, because there's lactose, so you can't go into ketosis if you're eating milk, because if you drink or eat milk, there's lactose in the milk, that's sugar. You can't go into ketosis if there's sugar. So there's keto people who are literally drinking milk, thinking that their body's entering ketosis, but it's not even in ketosis, because the nuts, the avocado, and the dairy all has sugar in it. So you can't enter ketosis unless you literally eat zero sugar. Okay, and if you were to eat zero sugar, you would feel horrible. Okay, your body would go into a fight or flight survival type of state. Okay, it's a very low quality state to be in. You don't want to be in that survival state, okay, of ketosis. That's like a last resort. That's why your body has to fight so hard to not enter ketosis. It's actually very difficult to enter ketosis. You have to eat zero sugar. Okay, it's very important. There's a medical medium episode about ketosis and the keto diet. You can check that out. Your body, even if you eat a couple berries, now you can't enter ketosis because your body's going to desperately run on the little tiny bit of sugar that's in those 5 berries. Okay, you're going to exit ketosis. Your body doesn't want to be in ketosis, okay? Your body burns carbohydrates for fuel. That's just how it is. So you want to give your body high quality, clean carbohydrates from fruits and from vegetables, and also mineral salts from leafy greens and from herbs. Okay? So we're gonna go a little bit deeper. Okay, we're gonna go deeper. So The eggs, you think they're healthy for you, but when you're eating them first thing in the morning, you're preventing your liver from cleansing, which your liver wants to cleanse first thing in the morning. That's why the morning protocol of Medical Medium, lemon water, celery juice, fruit, that's the cleanest thing for your liver. That's literally, that lemon water flushes your stomach. It helps to break down and digest rancid fats. It helps to bind to toxins and flush them out of your system. It gives you key sugars and vitamins and electrolytes that your body needs first thing in the morning when you wake up. And then if you have celery juice 15 minutes after that, holy fuck, that celery juice is feeding you over 80 different varieties of sodium cluster salts that are literally breaking down fats and molds and killing bacteria and viruses. Remember I was talking about all those strep, H. pylori, and all those different viruses, shingles, herpes, Epstein-Barr. Celery juice kills them. The alkaline nature of the celery juice breaks down the acidic cell wall of these viruses, and it alkalizes your body, makes it impossible for them to live in your body. It kills them, okay? Especially on an empty stomach. It breaks down fats, it heals and repairs your gut. Okay, it kills the bad bacteria in there that's craving dairy and that's craving eggs and that's used to those foods. It actually kills those bacteria and it allows healthy bacteria to grow. The bacteria that are craving what you are normally supposed to eat, which is fruits and vegetables. Yes, on a Medical Medium diet, I have to say this in every video, you can have some meat. You can have beef and you can have chicken, okay, grass-fed, organic, okay? You can have that, but that's best in the evening. In the morning, you want to do fruit, okay? Lemon water, celery juice, fruit, okay? Lots of fruit. A whole melon. Or, you know, this video is called My Favorite Breakfast or whatever. So, the heavy metal detox smoothie. Okay? Apples and bananas. You can even have oats and bananas. You can have millet and wild blueberries and maple syrup. So, but you want to have these healthy sugars, these healthy carbs first thing in the morning with minimum fats in the morning, okay? Not coffee with butter with eggs. Okay, literally clogging your liver, feeding all kinds of viruses, draining your adrenals and making you sick. Okay? And then having avocado toast. You're fucking having you're having all the wrong foods, all the bad ones. You're having them in the morning. First thing, you're starting your day with all the bad foods. And then if you're some spiritual person, you're saying, oh, well, I'm so spiritual, right? I'm spiritually awakened. Listen to me. You can't be spiritually awakened, okay, and have the lowest quality foods in your body at the same time because the energy won't match up. You're going to feel tired and lethargic and brain fog and just yucky. You're going to feel yucky and heavy. That doesn't resonate with the field of spiritual awakening, which is doing your passion, feeling light, feeling energized, feeling clean and purified. You want your insides to feel clean and purified. That helps karmically, not just physically, but even energetically, to have a clean and purified liver that's clean and free from toxic heavy metals, from fats that are rancid and rotting, that are stored in their toxic, really nasty fats from cheeseburgers that you ate 5 years ago. Your liver's trying to protect you. That shit is so toxic, your liver actually traps it inside so it doesn't go and damage the rest of your body. But your liver has a certain storage capacity. Okay? So your liver's actually storing the most toxic, disgusting shit in it. That, you know, the corn dog that you had at the fair 5 years ago, that shit's still, there's bits of that still in there, undigested. Your liver's literally holding onto it to protect you, okay? Because if it were to let that shit go, it would literally poison your body and your lymph nodes and your stomach it would be disgusting, it would be toxic, okay? So, Medical Medium protocols specifically understand this. This is Medical Medium only information. You can read his book, Liver Rescue. It's like 500 pages of just info channeled directly from source explaining how your fucking body works because of compassion. That's why I'm making this video. Because of compassion. I'm sad. You know, in Buddhism, they say Compassion is the heart of sadness. The sad heart. Why is my heart sad? Because I'm here chilling at my house eating literally the healthiest fucking food on planet Earth, and I feel like 25 out of 10, okay? And then my favorite YouTuber, who's the coolest guy, and I love him and I think he's awesome and I want to hang out with him, okay, is telling his followers to have that he's having coffee with butter, with eggs and avocado toast, okay? And then, the wheat from the toast is now feeding more viruses and is making it difficult to digest. There's basically zero nutrients in that wheat. The avocado is probably the only healthy food, okay, in that whole thing. But the problem is that even avocado first thing in the morning is a little bit too fatty first thing in the morning. It's better to have it in the afternoon or the evening. Okay, but the avocado is extremely healthy for you, okay? But the problem is if you're having it with coffee, butter, and eggs, it's not gonna have its full benefits. Okay, so if you wanted to experience the full benefits of avocado, you'd have your lemon water, celery juice, and fruit in the morning, and then in the afternoon or the evening, you'd have a salad with leafy greens with arugula, spinach, lettuce, and then you'd put avocado in it, or tomato, or with basil and herbs and oregano and parsley and stuff from your garden, or you could buy it from the store, parsley, oregano, whatever it is. Put that in salad, right, with maple syrup and lemon juice. Okay, I have videos about what I eat in a day, medical medium. I've described it already. Okay, and then in the evening you'd have steamed vegetables. You'd have potatoes, squash, broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, asparagus. You'd have large quantities of that. You'd have soups with carrots and onion and garlic, this kind of stuff. Sweet potato. Okay, you can have a bit of meat in the evening. You can have a piece of beef or a piece of chicken. You can do that, okay? But if you're doing all the other good stuff, that kind of allows that to digest properly, okay? It's not optimal, but you can still have that. Okay, you want to stay away from the troublemakers, which are eggs, dairy, wheat, corn, soy, canola oil, MSG, and pork and tuna. Okay, these are the troublemakers. These foods are either extremely high in fat that literally thickens your blood and prevents your body from cleansing at all, or they're high in heavy metals, or they feed viruses and bugs in your body. Okay, and when I say bugs, I mean bacteria and viruses. Okay. So my heart is sad. Why is my heart sad? The reason why my heart is sad is because the information ecology on planet Earth is disgusting. Okay, it's polluted just in the same way that your liver is polluted with metals and toxins and gunk and petrochemicals and fragrances and toxic cleaners and all this shit, okay, pesticides. That's all in your liver, okay? In the same way your liver's polluted, the information ecology on Earth is polluted with profit incentive, selfishness, corporate agendas, trying to sell you dairy and wheat and meat and stuff, okay? So when human beings don't know any better, humans are lost, okay? We're lost. We don't know, I don't know what to do, okay? I'm lost in my life. So that's when we go find some outside source to lead us. We're so stupid and we're so uneducated because our school teaches us basically nothing. We're so uneducated that we go to, our favorite YouTuber to tell us what's healthy, right? And then unfortunately, in 90% of cases, it just ends up being coffee with butter with eggs and avocado toast in the morning, okay? And then there's people who have it even worse. That there's steak in the morning, fried in butter and olive oil, okay? Or you're trying to build muscle, right? My brother is guilty of this. I love you, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to use you as an example. You're the best. You're my favorite. Okay. I'm saying because my heart is sad. Okay. I'm sorry to use you as an example. I love you so much. I used to do this too, okay? So I'm not, I'm guilty of this as well. When I was younger and I was trying to build muscle, okay, eating like yogurt with whey protein in it, and then having like meat again, and then having just like when you're having these high protein foods, you don't understand the fucking information ecology has been shaped to promote high protein ideologies, because that is basically the only thing that these dairy companies can slap on their label of their yogurt. 16 grams of protein, that's basically the only thing that they can put on there. So any kind of studies that emphasize the role that protein plays in being healthy and building muscle. Now again, protein is okay in moderation, okay? Apples have trace protein in them. Spinach has protein. Spirulina has protein. Sweet potatoes has protein. Squash has protein. Pumpkin has protein. Bananas have protein. Tomatoes have protein, okay? All the fruits and vegetables have protein in them, and they have really good quality proteins, actually. Proteins that are not going to clog your liver and that are not going to feed viruses, okay? And that are going to assimilate very easily into your body. They're bioavailable, and they're going to help you to build muscle in a really clean and healthy way, where you can have muscles, right? I'm not the most jacked person on planet Earth. I got some fucking lint in my belly button. You can have muscles, and I don't work out very much at all. I'm kind of lazy, to be honest. I work out like just a little bit of body weight, okay, a couple times a week. Like I literally work out for like 20 minutes a week, okay? And I'm fucking cut and jacked, because there's no fat. So if you compare this to most bodybuilders who are slamming their bodies with yogurt and whey protein and meat all the time, and tons, just too much protein, which they don't realize is actually too much fat, what happens, your liver gets overloaded, okay? And then you have fat. That's why you have to bulk and then cut. This whole thing of bulking and then cutting is actually a problem of you're not eating healthy. You're eating too much protein, too much high fat, so your body literally gets fat. You actually have to hold on to extra water weight because your liver actually needs to protect your body. So what happens is your liver gets full of fat. Remember I was telling you it's like a storage unit where it has to store these disgusting fats so that they don't go on to poison your body. Then once that is full, you reach your capacity, your liver is now functioning at like 50% capacity. Your liver has over 2,000 jobs in your body. Hey guys, this is an editor's note because I totally did not finish that last point. Basically, after your liver gets full of these fats, then it can't store any fat anymore. So your body needs to develop another mechanism of protection to protect your organs and your skin, and basically your body has to protect itself more by now having this sort of lymph fluid, which is like water weight, basically. So you get tubby, basically. The reason why you get tubby is because your body's actually using that layer of lymph fluid that to actually protect you from a lot of the garbage that's now floating around in your body. So now you have this like gunky, like disgusting, like fat that you call fat, but it's actually lymph fluid. The reason why that's there is because your liver is packed full of nasty fats, because that's all you eat because you think you need more protein. So in order to drain your weight, many people think, well, I just need to work out harder. I need to do more sit-ups. I need to cut out carbs, right? So it's the fucking opposite. Okay, so it's like, I need to cut out carbs and I need to work out harder, right? In order to get rid of that belly fat. No, you don't actually. What you need to do is you need to clean your liver of all these fats. This is like taking the plug out of the bottom of the bathtub. When you clean your liver, lemon water, celery juice, lots of fruit in the morning, staying away from troublemakers, okay, which I mentioned in the video, lowering the fat intake a little bit, increasing the quantities of fruit, making most of your calories come from fruit and vegetables, okay, and leafy greens and herbs. What this does is it allows your liver to cleanse, especially if you have celery juice. This just like amplifies the whole process times 100, okay, because it's that powerful. This cleans your liver. It allows all of these stored fats to get cleansed out, and then your liver is able to function better, okay? So now your body doesn't need this lymph, this layer of water weight anymore, which is basically why people get fat. Most people who are overweight and fat, it's always a liver problem. It's always because your liver is overloaded and your body's actually holding on to this weight as a form of protection. Okay, so to protect you from a lot of the toxic junk that your liver can't help you with anymore. Your liver can't help with the toxic junk anymore because it's full. You filled it up, okay? It's like when your phone reaches too much storage, you're out of data. Okay, so now you have to get iCloud or whatever. So the iCloud in this analogy is like the lymph fluid and the water weight that is building on your body. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to cancel your subscription. No, I'm just kidding. You want to clear up the space in your liver so that it doesn't need this extra form of protection, so that your body, after a couple months, after 3 to 6 months of eating a medical medium protocol, after your liver is clean, so your body, what it does is it cleans the liver first, okay? And then after the liver is mostly clean, then it starts to drop off the fat, okay? Because that's not the most important, okay? That extra fat. First thing of critical importance is to heal your damaged liver, which probably has scar tissue, which is probably starving of important nutrients, okay? So we heal that first, okay? Your body heals that first. Then later, after 3 to 6 months, the fat drops off slowly if you do the protocol well, okay? So I just wanted to finish that point. And now I believe we were talking about the 2,000 different chemical functions and how science doesn't understand that. So we'll go back to the regular programming, okay? Okay, over 2,000 jobs, chemical functions, most of which modern science is in the dark about. We don't know all of the different chemical functions the liver plays because we haven't been studying alive livers inside a human body to actually, we don't have the technology to even be able to understand this deeply interconnected, systemic, holistic, intelligent system. The human body is the most advanced system on planet Earth. Our stupid monkey minds are not even smart enough yet in spiral dynamics, stage blue, stage orange, and stage green. We're not even smart enough yet. Our minds are too materialistic. We're not holistic and systemic enough to even understand how complicated the liver is and how it works together with these complicated fruits, right, and vegetables. They grow out of the earth that contain mineral salts and electrolytes and vitamins that we don't even know exists in them. The way that our body now interacts with and assimilates these fruits and vegetables is an extremely complex, dynamic system. Okay? It's an intelligent system. We're not there yet psychologically and intellectually, even academically. We're actually not there yet, not even close to there. It's going to take another 100 years. And I'm serious. I'm sorry. It's going to take another 100 years, maybe less, hopefully less, for humanity to start to understand how the human body, how amazing it is, how it protects you. And how when you eat too much fat, like because you're trying to gain muscle, right? And all you need is protein, right, to gain muscle. Even though Medical Medium, and I've made a whole episode about the truth about protein. Medical Medium has 2 episodes. I linked that. Okay, that's linked in the description. Truth about protein. I talk about it. You think you need protein to build muscle, so you're buying dairy, you're buying eggs, you're buying meat. Perfect, right? Perfect for the industries. You're not thinking about apples. You're not thinking about tomatoes. You're not thinking about spinach. You're only thinking about chicken and rice. Okay, maybe you have the odd apple here or there because you want to be healthy, right? You have, some berries. had some berries, and then after your yogurt, right, you can't even absorb those berries because your stomach is caked with fucking dairy film, and it's suffocating your fucking liver and shit. You can't even absorb those berries. Okay, you haven't had any celery juice ever because you think it's girly, or you think it's weird, or there's no science behind it, even though there's over 1 million case studies of people healing and reversing chronic illnesses like me, eczema, all sorts of lupus and Lyme disease and thyroid problems and rheumatoid arthritis and all this kind of spooky stuff that you go to your doctor doesn't know what's going on, so your doctor kind of just shrugs his shoulders and says it's an autoimmune disorder. Okay, it's autoimmune, means your own immune system has just decided to start attacking you for no reason. We don't understand why. Your own immune system has decided that now it's time to start attacking you. So now that's why you have eczema, and that's why you're developing a thyroid problem, or that's why you have PCOS, or some sort of a reproductive issue, or a skin issue, or a stomach issue, an energy problem. Not understanding, no, actually, the reason why your doctor is calling it an autoimmune is because actually science doesn't know what causes 95% of these chronic illnesses that are completely ravaging over 200 million humans in the West alone suffer from one or more chronic illness symptoms. Okay? And the doctors, the science doesn't know what's causing it because of our progress that we make scientifically is so retarded. And I use that word deliberately. It's retarded, meaning it's impaired in its growth because of the swaths, the density of corruption and of selfishness. Okay? So our science can't actually make the kind of progress it needs to make in order to discover that eczema is actually caused by a toxic kind of copper that's in the liver that comes from pesticides. It can be passed down from the mother. It can be passed down from the grandmother. Okay, these toxic copper is then acting as a food source for Epstein-Barr virus, which is mononucleosis, which then eats this toxic copper and then excretes it as an even more toxic dermatoxin that then poisons your skin and causes eczema. It damages the derma. In other cases, depending on what metal it's eating, if it's eating aluminum, it could cause something like vitiligo, okay, which is the skin discoloration disorder, which is different from eczema. Or it can cause psoriasis, depending on what kind of metal it's eating, it's different. Okay, so our science doesn't understand. Doesn't that make sense? Isn't that a better theory than actually your immune system, your human immune system is attacking your own body? Or it's because of your genetics, you're just born with it, you're born sick, God made a mistake and you have a mutation? Why do I have a genetic mutation? Why? So even saying it's my genetics is still not answering the question of why. Why, even if it was my genetics, which is not. Again, we don't even understand genetics, okay? Most people have never studied epigenetics, okay? If you understand, there's a book on my book list called The Wisdom of Your Cells, okay? It's by Dr. Bruce Lipton. He explains genetics are not something that's set in stone. Genetics are like a box of Legos, okay? It's just the building blocks. Certain environmental conditions is what determines how the blocks are built, how the genes express. So your genes express differently based on what kind of environment you put them in. So based on the kinds of foods you eat, the kinds of metals and shit that are either in or not in your body, the kinds of viruses that are either in or not in your body, that determines how the genes express. Okay? Environmental conditions, levels of stress, the kinds of thoughts you think as well, it's all related. Okay, your energy levels, it's all related to determines how your genes express. So it's not your genetics why you're sick. Your genetics are fucking great. You have awesome genetics, okay? The problem is not your genetics. The problem is how your genes are expressing based on environmental conditions. You need to change the environmental conditions inside you. How do you change the environmental conditions inside you? Not by putting on a topical cream, not by taking a pill which in 98% of cases is actually not really helping that much, even if it helps your symptoms. I understand there are pills that do help your symptoms, but they don't heal the root cause of your symptoms. Okay? The pills are good at symptom management so that you can have enough energy to function, to get to the grocery store, to go buy some celery juice, and to go buy some spinach, and to go buy some apples and some wild blueberries and some spirulina, to actually understand, to go to the bookstore, to buy a medical medium book, to have enough mental energy to listen to Adam talking and to explaining how diet works, or listen to medical medium explaining how diet works, how health works, so that now you have enough energy to now eat a healthy diet that actually cleans the root cause of the chronic illness, gets the metals out, gets the toxins out, gets the rancid fats out, gets the mold and yeast and fungus that's living inside your gut and inside your stomach. The celery juice, for example, kills that. The parsley, the cilantro binds to metal. The little cilantro binds to metal inside your body and it flushes it out of your system. Okay, especially if you're hydrated. All right. So that's our situation, guys. The industries are shitting in the pool of the health space, and the humans on this planet don't know how to feed themselves. We've been led to believe that coffee and butter is somehow like more optimal than like 5 or 6 apples in the morning and some cilantro and raw honey. Okay, we've been led to believe that coffee with butter is more natural than that. Adam, isn't coffee a bean? Isn't coffee healthy? Not really, actually. It's not really a healthy bean. Coffee is actually very toxic. Medical Medium has a whole coffee episode. You can check that out. Coffee's pretty toxic, and the problem is the caffeine. It drains you. Okay, it's not something you're meant to be having all day and all night. Okay, so to sum it up, my favorite breakfast. Okay, it was the heavy metal detox smoothie. I have a tutorial on my channel. You can check that out. The reason why I wanted to share, I'm getting really thirsty. Actually, I have to go drink some lemon water now. I don't have any water on me. The reason why I share is because I want you to be healthy. I want you to understand how reality works. Because that's the root of your self-actualization. I can't even talk about a lot. I have a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm making more videos about dating and like attraction and stuff. I'm making more videos about meditation. I'm making more videos about creativity and your life purpose. Okay, I am going to talk about that. I have spoken about that a lot on my channel already. There's already a lot of great videos. I got a free course. You know, I got shit coming out. Okay, but I just want you to know that the health field is disgusting. Okay, it's polluted with selfishness and with stupidity and ignorance, and with lack of epistemological rigor and open-mindedness and willingness to actually test and experiment and to just understand common sense, basically. Okay, so the next action step, I think a good action step would just be to like buy a medical medium book, like Cleanse to Heal, and maybe just start drinking lemon water in the morning and then having fruit. Okay, the very simple action step. You want to keep the fats low in the morning, so no milk in the smoothie. Okay, just add coconut water, or add some fresh squeezed orange, or add just regular water in the smoothie. Okay, bananas and blueberries and wild blueberries. Okay, very simple. Okay, drink. Adam, that's not filling enough. Okay, drink more. Put more bananas. Have 3 bananas. That's not filling enough. Okay, have 4 bananas. But Adam, isn't that too much sugar? So this is part of the propaganda. Fruit fear. Why are you scared of fruit? Do you think your ancestors were scared of having 4 bananas? 5 bananas? Come on. Do you think your ancestors were scared of having 6 bananas? I have 6 bananas a day. I've my record for bananas, I've had like 15 bananas in one day. I felt amazing. Okay? I didn't have any shit problems, no issues with that, okay? You can have 50 bananas in one day, I swear to God. You'll be fine. Actually, Medical Medium has certain types of extreme cleanses for people in extreme cases who are really sick, where it's called a mono-eating cleanse, where just for like maybe a week, you only eat bananas just for a whole week. It actually helps to heal your gut. It's very good for healing your gut. Okay, now I'm not recommending that, okay? I think that's only for extreme cases, but I'm just trying to tell you that you can be healthy and eat a lot of fruit. Okay, so don't be afraid of the sugar in the fruit. This is propaganda. This is bullshit. Okay, if I could use that word in any context, it would be this: the idea that eating a whole watermelon is not good for you because it's too much sugar. Isn't it gonna rot my teeth, Adam, if it's so much sugar? No. Sugar from fruit doesn't rot your teeth. It actually cleans your teeth. It's disinfectant. It disinfects your teeth like lemon water. It's actually disinfectant for your teeth. It actually kills bacteria and shit in your mouth. Okay? But why does it hurt my teeth? Because it's cleaning. It's like when you put rubbing alcohol on a wound. It stings because it's actually cleaning your mouth. It's cleaning your teeth. But Adam, my dentist said, okay, does your dentist really know? Does he really know? Is your dentist like coming from like the most conscious, the most like cutting edge information on planet Earth? Or did he just see that from a commercial that citrus is bad for your teeth? Okay, because my dentist said it's not. So if my dentist said it's not, your dentist said it is, now we're back in this problem of what the fuck is going on. Okay? So I'm using Medical Medium as my primary source of health information because of his amazing track record over 50 years of literally working with tens of thousands of clients, of people who have been on the brink of chronic illness, literally reversing Alzheimer's, reversing cancer. This is like an everyday thing that Medical Medium does. It just reverses cancer like it's no problem. Adam, but why aren't we studying it then? Are you serious? Adam, if he was really reversing cancer, he would be on the news. Really? Thought we talked about the news already. If you gotta understand in life, if good quality information is not going to come to you, okay, you have to go to it. You need to go find good info. You need to search. You're not going to get good info by sitting on the couch and watching Netflix, okay? You got to actually spend a few hours a day consuming new information from high quality sources. So speaking of which, I have a book list. There's over 150 of my favorite personal development books, all different subjects: health, diet, business, spirituality, esoteric stuff, life purpose, creativity, success, life skills, history, science, philosophy. My favorite books, all on that list, listed in order of importance, in my opinion, ranked, reviewed, linked, all that stuff, organized by category, everything. You can get that for free. You can click the link in the description. You'll get that for free. Otherwise, stay tuned. I got a lot of exciting free stuff. I got blogs. I got a lot of stuff. That's my jacket down there. I got to go get it. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I don't know how you made it all the way to the end of a video that's called gratitude for my breakfast, or like my favorite breakfast or something. What the fuck? I'm stupid. Okay. So now you know about my favorite breakfast. See you soon. Okay, peace.